You know, when you first see this thing, it looks like it was pulled straight out of an old sci-fi movie. It's like a vision of the future, from the past. This is the story of the Atomium, a building that really tried to capture the spirit of a whole new age.
Here it is, in Brussels, Belgium. I mean, just look at it. It's this absolutely staggering structure of 9 gigantic spheres, all clad in stainless steel and connected by this network of tubes. It creates a silhouette against the skyline that is just completely unforgettable.
And yeah, it is huge. It stands at 102 meters. That's about 335 feet tall, making it one of the tallest structures in all of Belgium. It just completely dominates the landscape where it was built.
But here's the part that'll really blow your mind. The scale. This isn't just some abstract sculpture. What you're looking at is a single unit cell of an iron crystal, just magnified an incredible 165 billion times.
It's an incredible feat of engineering, for sure. But that leads us to the big question, right? Why? Why would anyone build a giant model of an iron crystal in the middle of Brussels? What was the point?
Well, to really understand the Atomium, we have to rewind the clock. We need to go back to the years right after World War II. Europe was rebuilding, and Belgium was looking for a really powerful new way to define its future.
You see, unlike a lot of its neighbors, Belgium's factories and industrial base were mostly still standing after the war. So its traditional industries, we're talking steel, coal, they could fire right back up. This led to this crazy period of growth that people started calling the Belgian economic miracle. But even with all that success, there was a massive shift happening under the surface. The old king, coal, which had powered the entire 19th century, was on its way out. The new power, the big promise of the 1950s, was nuclear energy. It seemed clean, modern, and just limitless.
And this change happened fast. I mean really fast. The coal industry starts declining in the 50s, and by 1956 they're already building the country's first nuclear research reactor. Belgium was going all in on the atom.
Please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. Share and like our videos. The information in the video is compiled from open sources. Thank you.
So the country had this big, bold, new vision for the future. But it needed a stage to announce it to the world. And that stage was the 1958 Brussels World's Fair, or Expo 58. This was the first giant World's Fair since before the war. The theme of the whole fair was just incredibly optimistic. A world for a better life for mankind. It was all about having this boundless faith in science and progress to build a better world. This was the dawn of the atomic age, and you could feel that excitement everywhere. But of course, bubbling right under all that sunny optimism was some serious geopolitical tension. As the first major World's Fair of the Cold War, Expo 58 instantly became a kind of cultural battlefield, especially between the two big players, the US and the Soviet Union. And you can see that clash of ideas perfectly right here. The Soviets built this huge, imposing pavilion, and right at the center was Sputnik, their big technological triumph. The message was clear. Communism delivers the future. Meanwhile, the US went for a completely different vibe, a sleek, modern pavilion that showed off the American dream, full of consumer goods, fashion, and an easy lifestyle. And towering over this whole ideological showdown was Belgium's own statement to the world. The host country needed a symbol that could be for their time what the Eiffel Tower was for a previous one, something to define the new age.
The idea they landed on, from engineer André Waterkane and architects André and Jean Polak, was, well, it was genius. They chose the atomic structure of an iron crystal, which was a direct shout-out to the steel industry that had made Belgium so prosperous.
But having a brilliant idea is one thing. Actually building this thing, that was a monumental task. I mean, look at this construction photo. It was a true feat of engineering. The design was so out there, they had to do extensive wind tunnel tests, which is why they ended up adding those extra supports to the lower spheres just to make sure it wouldn't blow away.
And this is what makes the design so clever. The Atomium wasn't just one symbol. It was like 3 symbols rolled into one. First, the iron crystal honors the country's industrial past. Second, by magnifying it to an atomic scale, it celebrated the nuclear future. And finally, the 9 spheres represented Belgium's 9 provinces, sending this powerful message of national unity. Expo 58 ended up being a massive success, pulling in over 41 million visitors. But its legacy and the Atomiums went way beyond the 6 months the fair was actually open. It truly changed the city of Brussels forever.
The fair basically kicked off this wave of modernization. Old boulevards became new highways, a new airport terminal was built, and a whole new style of architecture popped up everywhere. It really helped set Brussels up to become the capital of what would become the European Union.
In fact, there's a saying in Belgium that kind of sums it all up. After the Expo, everything was modern. The fair was this huge cultural turning point, the moment the country really leaned into a new, technological, forward-looking identity.
And here's the final, beautiful twist. Just like the Eiffel Tower before it, the Atomium was never supposed to last. It was built to be a temporary structure, but people loved it so much, it was such a powerful symbol that it was saved from being torn down and is now one of Brussels' most beloved landmarks.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The Atomium was born from this era of absolute, unshakable faith in science and progress. So, in our world, which feels a lot more complex and maybe a little more anxious, what does this beautiful, strange relic from a future that never quite was mean to us today?